right, we will get started. Well, happy New Year, Hope Dealers. I hope all of you had a wonderful Christmas and that 2025 is off to a very, very happy start. I will just jump right in. I know you've all seen the amazing, amazing gift Arvine has given us in this full year of reduced qualifications and maintenance. You know why I keep saying and maintenance is because it's hard when you get to a new level at reduced and then you have to keep it at the regular. And so they've covered all the bases. And Arbonne has never, I've been in Arbonne 18 years. They have never, ever done this. So if you're newer and do not quite grasp the significance of this, please ask your sponsor or your RVP to explain even more because it is really huge. So I'm not going to go over the numbers. You've got your email from Arvonne, you have your post in our team group, but you know how I love it when good things go on sale. So just think of it as the promotions and maintenance are all on sale for 20% off for the year. And really, the most important thing to do with this is not to go, okay, here's the promotion that I'm aiming for, divided by 12 months. Yeah, I want to aim for that by December 31st. Don't do that. Use your first 1 to 4 months to get to that promotion and help others get started now so they can take advantage of the reduced promotions. And if you're doing that, helping others, then you could very realistically promote not just one, but two levels during the year and earn that incentive trip to Tulum on the way. So I have some things I want to share tonight on just things I'm learning from this book called The 12-Week Year and how I missed hearing about this. I don't know, but thank you, Janet Benson, who was on the call for texting me and telling me about it because I have devoured it. But first, I want you to hear from my friend and very new independent consultant, Carrie Neveldine. I'll tell you just a tiny bit about Carrie. Carrie lives near our old neighborhood, and she and I met when I was out walking, and of course, she was out running. Was it, I don't know, 4 years ago, more? Something like
Yeah, at
that.
least. Yeah.
In about 5 minutes, I feel like we discovered so much in common. It was that we had to see each other again. And we started walking a few mornings each week, or every morning that we both had free, we would meet and walk. And besides becoming a really great friend, Carrie is a walking book of knowledge. Yes, you are, about all aspects of health. And she has become an amazing health coach. So I keep telling her she now needs to bill me for our walks because that is where the conversation turns. And I wish I could take notes while we were walking because I learned so much from Carrie all the time. She became a preferred client not long after we met and just upgraded to consultant in November. And this is an example of what we always convey about this business, that it's not an or business, it's an and business, meaning it's not that you choose your career or working Arbonne, it's your career and Arbonne. And Carrie has simply added her Arbonne business in and finding ways to, work this in and around her work and life. And I love to watch her YouTube videos because they're super informative, fun, and about 2 minutes long. I can do 2 minutes. So I watched this video that she did last week about willpower and motivation. And that's, we're always talking about that at the start of the new year and goal setting. I loved what she shared on this and immediately asked if she would share on our call. So I'm going to stop talking and let you get to know Carrie. All yours.
Thank you, Dina. I appreciate all your very kind and some exaggerated words. I'm still trying to be confident in myself, so I have to baby steps. But I'm going to share my screen if that is okay. And hello, everyone. Sorry, I should have said that. So, as Dina said, I am going to try to glean a little bit of light on this age-old question. Does motivation and willpower determine success? And hopefully by the end of these next few minutes, you'll have a little bit of insight and maybe some strategies to walk away with. So I'm just going to start very quickly with sorry, I got to move with some definitions here. So motivation is that spark or that energy that you get when you're starting to work towards a goal. So how many of you are watching the 30 hard videos? Yeah, they're really motivating and I get so much information and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I want to, do this and I want to add this and stuff." So that's the motivation part of it. On the other hand, willpower is that discipline you need when challenges arise or distractions come up. So, for instance, I am doing the January, my very first one, as a consultant, but I have a couple of ladies doing it with me. And we're doing the 30 days to healthy living. And, when your spouse is baking your favorite cookies at 9 o'clock at night, that's your willpower is needed to, say no, no to that. So there's not a lot of people, so you can just scream it out if you want, but if you want in the chat, just on a scale of 1 to 10, just what number would describe how much you rely on willpower and motivation to be successful in your Arbonne business?
Mm.
You literally could just probably scream it out because there's only a few, unless you, oh, I see. Okay. 7. Okay.
Good, Fran.
I see Fran. Is there anyone else? I see a 7. I don't know if I'm seeing everyone's, but but yeah, a lot of people find that they really rely on this. And there's bad news and then good news. So motivation and willpower are a lot like your phone batteries or really any batteries. They will deplete over time. So motivation can really get depleted quickly when you're faced with these results that aren't as quick as you want or obstacles that get in the way. So for instance, let's see, maybe you are trying to get 5 people to do your 30 days to healthy living, and you just keep getting resistance with everyone you're asking or talking to. That can really deplete your motivation. And willpower is also finite. So, yes, at 9 o'clock at night, when those cookies smell really good, it's really hard to say no. And most people will probably say yes at that point. And this happens because all day long, and you can all relate, you're making hundreds of decisions. You're resisting all these temptations that are coming up. You're managing not only your emotions, but probably the emotions of other people. And this all drains your energy, and that's called decision fatigue. So if you can't really use willpower and motivation to find the ultimate success you want, what's the solution? Well, forming habits and being consistent is where the success will lie. And that's because habits will really remove that need for willpower. Once you have a habit, it pretty much just kind of is on autopilot. Your brain is really, I don't know if you want to say either efficient or lazy, depends on how you want to look at it, but it needs to conserve energy. So it doesn't want to continue to make decisions and it doesn't want to problem solve all day long. So it really needs pattern and routine and habit. And the cool thing about this is that when you form a habit, it actually moves from your conscious state into your unconscious, and it's stored in that part of your brain below your awareness. And the fun fact is 95 to 99% of everything you do, say, think during the day is actually driven by your subconscious. And that includes your habits. So I put together just 5 simple tips on how to build these consistent habits so that you can become more successful in your Arbonne business, and myself included. You're all way beyond me, so I'm taking this advice to heart myself. The first tip that I have is start building your habits in the morning. I know that I just am reading the book that they had suggested, The Morning Miracle, and it's dead on. How many of you make better decisions, are more motivated, or more productive in the morning rather than the evening? Yeah. Well, and research will back that up. So starting to build your habits in the morning is a good place to start. Your second tip is to make sure your habit is small, specific, and clear. If, like Dina was saying, if you're saying 12 months out, I want to, hit this goal, whatever happens to be with your Arbonne business, that is overwhelming and not motivating in a way. So for me, because I have so much going on the side too, so everybody's different, I said I'm going to reach out to one potential client, or maybe go back and, ask them again and revisit the same client. I'm going to do that one for one person every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, just to get into the habit and the routine. And then I can build on that over time. It's small, it's specific, it's clear, and it's doable for me. Yep. Sorry. I must have hit something. Sorry about that. Okay. I don't know why it skipped all those. All right, third tip. Stack that new habit that you're working on with a habit that you've already established. And that's because that habit that you have established serves as a cue or a trigger for your new habit. So for me, I can say, while I'm sitting down with my lovely chocolate Arbonne protein shake, that's when I'm going to reach out to that potential client. So it's kind of that cue for me to do that. Tip number 4 is write that habit down. You're no stranger to this. Put on a sticky, put it on. I have it on my calendar because it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That will not only be a good reminder for you, but it's motivational and it keeps you accountable and consistent too, which is very important. And the last tip is track your progress. Celebrate every single win, even if it's tiny. So use a habit tracker, or maybe you have a client, system that you have that you're using. So keep track of that. And then every time you do something that is one step closer to your goal, towards forming that habit, give yourself a sticker, a pat on the back. Have yourself a fizz. Celebrate that small win because your brain loves reward. And because you took that one step and were rewarded, it's going to want to take another step in that direction. So those are your 5 tips. And I'll do a quick wrap up here. So we talked about motivation and willpower. Yes, they're powerful and they're very important, but always remember that they are temporary and finite. So true success will come from building those habits. Remember, just using those tips and going slowly to build a habit and then stack another one on top of it and another one on top. It will build up to some major successes for you. And then be consistent. And really, success is something you have to wire into your brain. It literally is. It's neuroplasticity. It's brain science. It's not just something I'm saying. Okay, so and if we have a minute or so, if you want to put in the chat your biggest takeaway, or if you want to come out and just say it again, since there's not a ton of people here, you're more than welcome to come out and say if you found any of this helpful for you.
I appreciate knowing the difference between the success of having it all, the habits and the consistency, as well as the motivation and the willpower, because you can't be depending on so much motivation and willpower. And it makes sense. The more you get into a habit, the more it becomes easy and the more likely you do it, and less likely that you're going to not have success with it.
Thanks, Fran. That's great.
I loved the exact same thing because, you would think, that the willpower and just the determination would be enough. Am I still? No, I am unmuted, but just that constant focus on it's the habit and knowing that it becomes subconscious. That's, I find all of that fascinating.
I agree. And I know I sent Dina just a little sheet that has some actionable habits that you can use to grow your Arbonne business. So she said she'll send that link out later on, but I appreciate you letting me speak.
Terry, that was awesome. And y'all are going to love this whole handout, because here are some small actionable habits to consistently grow and run a successful Arbonne business. It printed out 3 pages, so I'm not going to read this, but each one of them has a habit, action items, and why it works. Habit, action items, why it works. And it's all Arbonne, not just a John Maxwell habit book out there. And Carrie put that together. I think she arrived trained and ready to lead and teach. And I just so appreciate, I'm learning from you, Carrie. So I appreciate your sharing that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to go off and let you.
Oh, did you just mute? Okay. I'm going to just share for maybe about 6, 7 minutes here, just little snippets from this 12-week year. If it sounds like it's not cohesive, it's because I have listened to it audio, taken a lot of notes, and I'm just trying to pull out some different pieces here and there to just give you an idea of some of the places that this book touches on. So not one thing I say is going to come like, I mean, everything I say won't all be from the same chapter. Just again, want you to have some little snippets. The overall premise that I saw in it, and Janet, have you finished this book? You're
Not
reading.
yet.
Okay. Feel free to jump in if there's something that if anyone else is reading it, but it's that those annual goals alone are not effective. And how many times in these last 18 years have I written out those goals for the year and even for the, I've done the quarter, but you're always saying, where do you want to be in this area? And we always talk about it's not just Arbonne, it's your physical goals, relationship goals, how your finances are, all of those things. But we can write out where we want to be in any area of our life by December 31st, 2025, and then not actually do the work it requires in January. And it's easy to think, oh, well, it's early, 11 more months. I have plenty of time. And in a 12-week year, you're taking what you need to do in 12 weeks to stay on track, to get to where you want to be in a year. But it's taking these 12 weeks and making them a year. And in that, every day is like a week. So now giving myself a pass on one day, it's like blowing off a week of work. So again, let me just skim to a little bit of what they said about vision, because the nuts and bolts of making a 12-week plan, your own 12-week plan, really can't happen until you have created a really compelling vision. A quote from the book was, if we're going to perform at a higher level than now, we must have a vision much greater than where we are now. We must be emotionally connected to our vision, or we have no reason to go through the pain of change. I liked how I said, behind every impossible achievement is a dreamer of impossible dreams. And anytime that there's passion lacking, it's always a problem with vision. So yes, creating that personal, compelling vision that you're emotionally connected to is the all-important first step, but it can't just be about making a vision board and staring at it, because it has to be that there are the action. And that's why I loved, even though I was already making notes on this, so much of it just like goes perfectly with what Carrie was saying about the habits, because that 12-week plan is your focused habits that you are committed to do. I loved how he talked about accountability was not necessarily to another person. It's being accountable to yourself and doing what you said you were going to do. Three big differences in making this 12-week plan that really made sense to me is it's more predictable than 12 months. I can't plan October 2025 right now, but I can look at January, February, March, and I can see so much more clear what I'm doing these 12 weeks and where I can schedule these blocks of time to work, in a much higher level way. It can be more focused and there's more structure because it's easy to identify the few critical actions that are necessary. And those actions mean daily actions, those habits that Carrie was talking about. The greatest predictor of the future is our daily actions, because this is straight from the book. The physical universe will not respond to our desires, but it does respond to our actions. Do you want to predict your health? Look at your eating and exercise habits. Predict the state of your marriage? Look at your daily interactions. Predict your future income? Look at the habits and the actions that you take, or maybe those you're not taking, for your business each day. And there's so much more. Again, this is a whole book, but I just want to share one thing that I found that very, very true. I could relate to this. I think maybe some of you will be able to relate to it. And it was talking about the emotional cycle of change, that always with change, there's an emotional roller coaster. Whatever your decision is about what you want to change in your life, everyone goes through the same cycle. And I'm going to read them quickly, the 5 things, and then I'll go back and describe. But it's uninformed optimism, informed pessimism, valley of despair, informed optimism, and success and fulfillment. And it all makes sense when I go back and just give a simple sentence for each one. Uninformed optimism, that's the start. It could be for a new consultant, but it can also be for all of us at every level. At the start of the new year, we see all the benefits. Look at Arbonne's done these reduced qualifications and promotions and all of that. We don't think of the cost. We're thinking, I'm going in qualification for area this month. I'm finishing in February. I know I can do this. That's that uninformed optimism. Although I do want you to have that vision that you can, anything is possible. But in the second one, the informed pessimism, is where we start to realize the cost. The road to area is not as easy as I thought it would be. These 2 people joined me, but they've already quit. And I had these events scheduled and now they've canceled, and we start to look for reasons to quit. So that's the informed pessimism stage. And then the dangerous valley of despair, where most people give up. They convince themselves, you know what, life was fine. It wasn't so bad before. And that is why having a compelling vision is critical. And then the informed optimism, back in the game, new thoughts and actions are becoming routine habits. There's that word, and it's straight from the book. The new thoughts and actions are becoming routine habits. Now we're doing things differently and doing different things. And then the number 5 is success and fulfillment, beginning to experience benefits. And now the costs begin to seem minor. I can completely relate to that. I've seen those cycles in my business, many times. And I don't know if that is something that you all can relate to. It reminds me of what I've shared many times from the book, Dare to Dream, Work to Win. Tom Barrett's 3 stages that we go through. And when I heard him speak in person, of course, he made these, specific to Arbonne. And it was stage 1, it's not worth it. That might be when you're at the consultant level. Your paycheck is less than it will be in the other levels in Arbonne. Stage 2, it is worth it. This might be the district manager to area manager level. And stage 3, I'm not worth that much, the VP levels in Arbonne. So I remember Cecilia or Linda, one of them said it in that kickoff call for 30 Hard. They were saying, take a piece of paper, put a circle on the left with today's date, and put a circle to the far right with December 31st, 2025, and draw this line in between them. That line is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And the bridge consists of just 2 things. And one of them is the theme of tonight, habits, and the other is the self-talk. So, Carrie, thank you again for sharing with us on the importance of habits. And on the self-talk part, I just encourage every single one of you on this call, listening to the recording as well, please, please speak life and truth over yourself, over your family, over your business, your future, your life. All right, thanks everyone. I love you all so much. Good night. Let me get to end recording. Why don't I see?
Thank you, Carrie.
Thanks again.